Hari Om. Let us continue our study. An Atatai, Swamiji explains, is one who has committed any or all of the six kinds of wrongdoings. An Atatai is one who has committed any or all of the six kinds of wrongdoings. And what are those wrongdoings? Agnido Garadaschaiva Shastronmatto Dhanapahah Kshetradaraharaschaitan Shadvidyadatayinah. Very clearly defined. And what are those wrongdoings? An arsonist, one that sets fire, is called an Agnida. Agnida. One who commits the crime of poisoning someone is called Garada. Agnida, Garada. A person who comes after you with a weapon in hand when you are unarmed is a Shastronmatta. Shastronmatta. A Dhanapaha is one who robs others of their wealth. A Kshetrahara is one who encroaches upon or occupies someone else's land. In spite of calling them by a respectable word like pioneer, such people are in fact Kshetraharas. And one who kidnaps or grabs another man's wife is called a Darahara. So, who is an Atatai? He who, one that sets fire is an Agnida, one who commits the crime of poisoning is called a Garada, one who comes after you with a weapon when you are unarmed is a Shastronmatta, a Dhanapaha is one who robs others of their wealth, a Kshetrahara is one who encroaches upon or occupies someone else's land, and one who kidnaps or grabs another man's wife is a Darahara. Now, was Duryodhana and Duryodhana Adi Atatais? Yes, of course. Duryodhana had committed all six crimes that were mentioned above. All six kinds of crime. He set fire to the wax house in which the Pandavas were staying. What else did he do? Only because of some timely inside information were the Pandavas able to escape. He had also poisoned Bhima when he was young. He had robbed the Pandavas of their wealth, had occupied their kingdom, and would not give them so much as a small piece of land. He had tried to take away their wife Draupadi. Those who have committed any of these crimes are all called Atatais. The law of the land gives them capital punishment. Capital punishment. For these types of crimes, then, there is no court of appeal. Absolutely. No clemency. Duryodhana, being an Atatai, deserved punishment according to the Dharma Shastra. He must follow these portions very carefully. In the empirical world, Dharma Shastra rules. In the empirical world, Dharma Shastra rules. Anyone going against this code incurs sin and is necessarily punishable. Even so, knowing all of this, Arjuna did not think that they would gain punya by destroying these wrongdoers. Completely skewed thinking. He was certain that only Papa would be the result for reasons that he would explain to Krishna later. Arjuna thought that by destroying his own people, he would be creating great confusion in the society because they would be the perpetrators and would be the cause of this confusion. No law of dharma would excuse them. Wow. They would incur only papa in the end, although Duryodhana was an atatai. Killing an atatai, if killing an atatai would incur papa on them, then we can well imagine what kind of thought patterns were running in Arjuna's mind at this point in time. This was Arjuna's thinking. It was not correct, but that was how he saw it. His affection for these people, caused confusion in his own mind, and he concluded. And what did he conclude? Verse 37, Tasmanarha vayam hantum dhartarashtran swabandhavan swajanam hi katham hatva Sukhinasyama Madhava. Tasmat. Therefore, Swabandhavan, one's own relatives, Dhartarashtran, the sons of Dhritarashtra, Vayam, we, Hantum na arhaha, should not kill. Madhava, oh Krishna, Krishna's other name. Swajanam, one's own people, Hatva, having destroyed. Katham hi, how indeed. Sukhinaha, happy people, Syama, we would become. Therefore, we should not kill our own relatives, the sons of Dhritarashtra. Destroying our own people, Madhava, O Krishna, how would we be ever happy? So, what does the word Madhava mean? Mayaha Shriyo Dhavaha Patihi Madhavaha. The consort of goddess Lakshmi is Madhava. So, because they would incur only papa by destroying their own relatives, Arjuna concluded that they were not qualified to kill the sons of Dhritarashtra and others. He is telling Janardana this. He is telling Madhusudana this. Oh Krishna, he asked, how can we be happy by destroying our own people? Happiness under such circumstances would be impossible. With our own people gone, there would be no one with whom we can celebrate our victory. For him, celebrating his victory is more important than the upkeep of dharma. Calling him Madhusudana and Janardana, Arjuna told Krishna that these were all people whom he did not want to kill. You are Madhusudana and Janardana. You chastise those who are wrongdoers and you destroy demons, all of whom are people unknown to you. My situation is different. These are all my own people. Arjuna thereby expressed that the kind of problem he had to deal with was entirely different from the ones Krishna had faced. Slowly, Arjuna's mind is shrinking more and more, and he would reach such a point where he is more or less going to be frozen. He's absolutely overwhelmed by sorrow and grief due to attachment. So he tells Krishna, by continuing to say, Yadyapyete na pashyanti lobhopahata chetasaha kulakshayakrutam dosham mitradrohe cha patakam katham nagyeyamasmabhihi पापादस्मान् निवर्तितुं कुलक्षयकृतं दोषं प्रपश्यद्भिर्जनार्दन. In verses 38 and 39 taken together, yadiyapi, although ete, these, lobha upahata chetasaha, people whose minds are overpowered by greed, kulakshaya kritam, born of the destruction of one's family, dosham, defect, sin, mitradrohe, in the betrayal of one's own friends, cha, and patakam, sin, napashyanti, do not see, Janardana, O Krishna, kulakshaya kritam, born of the destruction of the family, dosham, sin, prapashyadbhihi, by those who see very clearly, asmabhihi, by us, asmat papat, from this sin, nivartitum, to withdraw, katham nagyeyam, how is it not considered? He's asking Krishna. And at the same time addressing him as Janardana. Although these people whose minds are overpowered by greed do not see the defect in the destruction of one's family and the sins of betraying one's friends, Janardana, Krishna, how come it is not considered by us who know that sin is born of the destruction of the family to withdraw from the sin? So he asks. So here Krishna may have said, Arjuna, this Svajana argument, that is, how can I fight against my own people, is applicable to Duryodhana also, is it not? You are not the only one with this problem. Duryodhana, however, does not consider you one of his people. He considers you an enemy. He will not even give you a square inch of land in this kingdom. He does not look upon you as a swajana, as someone who is related to him. He looks upon you as someone who has come from, from another planet, as it were, as an invader. Given the situation, what is this Svajana argument really all about? It is meaningless because Duryodhana does not feel the same way. If he did, there would be no war. You gave him every chance to avert war. You were ready to accept even a village, but he was not willing to give you one. Therefore, where is the problem? It is a simple question of dharma and adharma, right and wrong, isn't it? You are supposed to be the protector of what is right, the protector of law and order. And if you allow adharma to continue, then it is a dereliction of duty on your part. This could very well have been Krishna's argument. Arjuna expected it, and this verse was his answer for it. He told Krishna that these people were unable to tell the difference between right and wrong because their minds had been destroyed by greed. Duryodhana was not a bad man. Greed was the problem. Because of greed, his discrimination, his commitment to right and wrong was lost. Look at how Arjuna is arguing. He was therefore unable to see what great destruction would be wrought by this war and what a crime it would be to destroy one's own family. As though Duryodhana did not know this earlier. But Arjuna didn't argue like this earlier. Nor could he see the sin he would incur by droha, cheating and deceiving his own friends. The word mitra here means one's cousins. And other relatives as well as friends. An example of droha is this. You ask a friend whom you trust to keep some money for you, and when you claim it back, if he or she says, "What money?" then that is betrayal. The betrayal of Christ by Judas is also an example of droha. The reason these people did not see was not because they were uneducated. In fact, they were all educated people. However, education is not required in order to differentiate right and wrong. Even uneducated people know the difference. The people Arjuna was referring to have been well brought up. They were not raised in criminal colonies. As children, they had lived in palaces with tutors. Yet, they did not see this because they were possessed by greed. Their faculty of discrimination, their minds, had been robbed away by greed. Greed is capable of anything. You might be highly educated, but greed overpowers all education. It robs away one's understanding of right and wrong and one's capacity to interpret them. That being the case, the education only helps you to justify your actions with cogent arguments. Here, too, the Dhartarashtras used every argument they knew to justify what they wanted to do because of greed. This was why they could not see the destruction they were bringing about. But we do see the papa that is going to be incurred by us, Arjuna told Krishna. Recognizing this, how can we not turn away from this great sin? Arjuna wanted to know, how would they possibly consider this particular situation as anything other than one they should withdraw from? Anticipating yet another argument from Krishna, that if the family had to be sacrificed in order to protect dharma, then it should be done. Arjuna continued, which we will pick up in the following capsules. Hari Om. ॐ दुर्जनः सज्जनो भूयात् सज्जनः शान्तिमाप्नुयात् शान्तो मुच्येत बन्धेभ्यः मुक्तश्चान्यान् विमोचयेत् सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ